So far in the fourth problem, we have calculated or deducted the marked applications, and this is the liability now that we get. Next, we also calculated unmarked applications, but only unmarked applications received from the public, which means we took the total applications that were received from the public, excluding firm underwriting, which means what the underwriters have taken, firm underwriting shares, those are not included in these applications. Okay, those we will include later. Then we also deducted the marked applications, all right, and we got unmarked applications received from the public. Now the problem we have to look at to find out whether benefit of firm underwriting was given or not given. It was not given to the individual underwriters. See, when they say underwriters, no, the more proper way of saying is individual underwriters. The benefit in the sense, of course, whatever the firm underwriting will be deducted from their total, but not individually. Like if you have taken 2000, only 2000 will not get deducted from your liability. Okay, so a combined sort of benefit is given, but it is not given to individual underwriters. So what to do in that case? You have unmarked applications received from public, 3000. I will just write this as continued. We'll take it to the next page so that we have little more space. So once you have those unmarked applications from public, this is not a separate step, it's just a continuation of the same. Okay. Now since benefit is not given, unmarked applications we got was 3000, and since benefit is not given to individuals, we take the firm underwriting applications and add them to the unmarked applications that we have received from the public. So what are we doing? We are mixing it up. We are not giving them individual benefit, but we are taking all their firm underwriting applications and mixing it up with the unmarked applications that we have received, right? So what are the firm underwriting applications? How many? Let's see here, 1600, 600 and 2000. Okay, so what are the names? B, D and M. That's right. How much is the amount? You may just total up directly also. You may just write the amounts and total them all together, or you may write them separately. 1600, 600, 2000. Okay, this comes to 4200, and the total, we call this the total unmarked applications, which we will divide in the gross liability ratio. This will not be divided in the gross liability ratio, alright, not yet, because there are firm underwriting. So we have to add firm underwriting, get a new value which is 7200, and this value will be divided in the gross liability ratio. Now what is the gross liability ratio? We had not written it here in the brackets. We have 12, 5 and 3000 taken by each underwriter. This is what they agreed upon. Now 12, 5 and 3, there is no common number that divides all the three. So we cannot reduce it further to a ratio. So we take it as it is, 5 is to 3. Right? Cannot be further reduced. Fine. So 12 is to 5 is to 3. This is our ratio, and we will divide this in the gross liability ratio. Okay. So allotted in gross liability ratio, 12 is to 5 is to 3. Now how much does that give us? Let's see, 7200 we have, right? So 7200 multiplied by first person's ratio is 12, correct? So how will you calculate? 12 plus 5 is 17. 17 plus 3 is 20, isn't it? That is the ratio. So it will be, I'll write it here better, just for your understanding. It will be 12 by 20 into 7,200, 5 by 20 and 3 by 20 for each one. Correct? So how much is that? Multiplied by 12 divided by 20, you get 4,320 for the first one. We'll directly write here instead of writing in the working note all over again. Next one, you have again 7,200. We have to give it to the second person. 5 divided by 20. Okay, this amount is 1,800. And lastly, 7,200 multiplied by 3 by 20. 1,080. Done? So what we have done here is, once again, we have taken the firm applications of all the underwriters, mixed them up with the unmarked applications, okay? Instead of giving them individual benefit, like an individual, credit, okay, you sold that many, you minus that many from your account. No, we have mixed it up with the unmarked and we have distributed in gross liability ratio. So let's get the differences, how much we get in the first case. So we have 10,000 minus 4,320. This is 5,680. This way we have to keep getting the differences. Now here 1,000 minus 1,800. That means a negative 800 is surplus, right? Next one, 2,000 minus 1,080. You get 920. Is this clear? Simple. After subtracting the unmarked applications, these are the amounts that we get. So two people still have a liability. B and M still have a liability, that is the positive figures, whereas D has a surplus. He happened to sell or he happened to buy more shares than the others, isn't it? Like when we divided the firm underwriting, he is getting more unmarked applications, right? So 800 is a surplus. Now let's see what to do with that surplus. I told you, whichever person has the surplus, take it and distribute it amongst the other two people. Okay? So who are the other two people? Allocation of whose surplus, you write that first, D's surplus, okay, 1 second, okay, these names have not changed, these are supposed to be A, B and C, alright, A, B and C, same way over here also, A, B and C. Alright, now, so whose surplus is it that we are distributing and among which other two people? Allocation of B surplus or surplus of B allocated among A and C, the other two, isn't it? In the gross liability ratio of, now what is the gross liability ratio? The original ratio is 12 is to 5 is to 3, but B is now not in the picture because he already has a surplus. So the remaining ratio will be 12 is to 3, right? The other two have the ratio of 12 is to 3. Done? So let's see now how much does each one get. This 800, if you divide between the two, 800 multiplied by 12 divided by 15, 12 plus 3, 15, right? Sorry, some error here, multiplied by 12. divide by 15, 640. You get 640. So first person out of the 800, he is getting 640. So minus it, okay, less as in minus. In fact, we don't have to write this because we are already writing less, correct? And same way, how much does the other person get? You don't have to calculate ratios again. Just do 800 minus 640. The person C, underwriter, gets 160. Again, minus. Okay, and this 800 gets nullified. Fine, 800 and 800 will become 0. Now let's see what we get here, whether we are getting a liability or we are still again getting a surplus. So 5680 minus 640 gives you 5040. Then this is gone, nil. Okay, and last one, 920 minus 60 gives you 760. Okay, now this problem doesn't end here. There is yet another step that we have to do. Now what does it say? Look at the steps that I have given you here, the pro forma. It says that when benefit is not given of firm underwriting, first step is to add the firm underwriting to unmarked. We have already done that. In our working note, we took the firm underwriting over here and these firm underwriting, we added it to the unmarked applications. Am I right? We totaled it up. And the second step is to add the firm underwriting applications to net liability. Okay, so this is a net liability. We call it net liability as per agreement. All right, don't underline it yet because we will add firm underwriting to this and then get the total liability. So let's see, add firm underwriting. How much is it? Now add each ones. 1,600, 600 and 2,000. Okay, add up, no minusing. Okay, be very careful here. 6,040, sorry, this is 1,600, so 1,640, 6,640, then 600 and this is 2,760. Done. This is now your total liability. Total liability basically means if firm underwriting was not taken, okay, that means those many shares are now taken by the underwriters, but the total actual liability of all the unsubscribed applications would be this much. Now add this up and see what figure you get. 6,640 plus 600 plus 2,760 and you get 10,000. Let's cross check now. What does the problem say? 20,000 shares were issued and how many applications were received excluding firm underwriting. We are not talking of how much underwriters have taken. Before they took or before they take those many shares, how many applications were received? 10,000 shares. Okay, so difference is how much? Issued minus received is 10,000. That means this is the total 10,000 which the underwriters would take, and out of these many were definitely taken as firm underwriting. Is that clear? This is the amount that they had taken. Done? So total liability figure is important to calculate. This last step, you have to add the firm underwriting and get the total liability figure of the actual unsubscribed number of shares. Is this clear?